Welcome to the Wrexham Coffee Matchup. I'm Dave.
And I'm Courtney. Each week, we'll take a few minutes to catch up on the latest news from Wrexham. From matchups to transfers, on and off the pitch, we'll share our takes on it all.
So grab a coffee and join us.
Hey, Dave, how are you doing?
Pretty good. It's kicking off a very, very busy season for us. So I think we're going to have a few things to talk about as we go through. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing well. I'm really looking forward to a break from work. And in that time, a lot of matches to go through.
Yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit later. It's funny how we're both actually off work for the next 2 weeks, which is a lovely feeling. And our boys have a lot to do in the next 2 weeks. So they don't get a break like we do. But
not at all.
Before we jump into last week's match, there was something I saw on social media that got me excited, and it kind of like reminded me and took me back in time. You posted a picture on right before the match, drinking a Polly's beer of Wrexham Coffee Stout, and I wanted to know more about that.
Yeah, and of course I asked you, should I bring the can? You said yes, and I forgot. That's where we are. But yes, I saw it living in Switzerland. They have at the train station that's not too far from where I live, they have a store called Beers of the World. I think that's the name of it. And you go in and they have, little flags with the prices for where all the beers are. And I wasn't particularly looking for Welsh beer, but they had the can turned so it said Wrexham Bean Company. And I thought, wait, I have coffee from there. And I picked it up, and Polly's has this beer collaboration with Wrexham. And so I got it and said, all right, I need to find the time to drink it. So I drank it, or some of it while I was watching the match on Friday. And I took a couple of sips, and it like instantly took me back in time. So this, when I was in LA a whole lifetime ago, I brewed beer. I did it for fun.
You did.
I did it in my apartment, my tiny, 320 square foot apartment. The second batch I made of a lemon basil wheat beer, I didn't get to drink any because there was too much sugar and all of the bottles exploded because of overcarbonation. But anyways, I made a chocolate stout. And it ended up being ready shortly before I was leaving Los Angeles, and I was leaving LA to move here to Switzerland. We knew at the time somebody that worked at this small wine bar, and I think I just took a couple bottles in to kind of say, hey, what do you think? Have a taste. And he loved it. And actually, it wasn't a chocolate stout. It was a spicy chocolate stout with jalapeno peppers in it.
I remember that. Yes. Yeah.
And he said, hey, I want to put this on the menu. I'm going to serve a spicy chocolate beer float. And he asked me if he could have all of the other bottles that I'd made, which I think was like 2 cases worth. And I said, sure, because what am I going to do with 2 cases of beer moving to Switzerland? And I think
other
he
than
said
give it to
in
me,
like,
but yeah.
other than give it. Oh, sorry. I think you got a couple bottles out of it.
I'm kidding.
And then I think he told us like in 2 nights it was sold out. He offered me a job to brew beer for them that I turned down. So I could have been a beer maker in LA.
Yeah. Instead, you have a whole nother life that is wonderful in its own right. But that is great that sip of the connection from the coffee made you buy it and then brought you back to that time in life, which is
totally took me back.
Yeah.
I did not say it was a good beer. It had like the bitterness from the coffee, a little bit of those sweet notes from the chocolate. I'm really interested in tasting more of their beers. I think that I spotted a couple of different ones at the store at the train station. So I'm going to go back and take a look.
Nice. And we have on our schedule in February that we're going to go to Polly's. They have a tasting room that has a full menu, and we're going to go to the location in Mold and do some beer tasting and have a nice meal there as well. So I'm looking forward to that.
Really looking forward to it. Yeah.
So before we get into the Swansea match, we have breaking news, which just it rarely
For the
happens
first
that
time.
like for the first time, like minutes before we started, we saw the news that Jay Rodriguez has been added to the 25 player roster. And so they took Elliot Lee off, who's recovering from a knee
Mhm.
surgery. And we had heard that Elliot's planning on coming back in January or making his way to come back in January. But it was a big surprise to see Jay Rodriguez added on so late in the first half of the season. I believe there's
Mhm.
only 2 more matches left there where the roster is in effect, maybe 3 before we go into the
Okay.
January transfer window. But I know we've seen in the recent weeks, I've noticed that Jay Rodriguez has been popping up in some proof of life videos,
Oh,
showing
and you
up in
mean like the
training.
video of him shaking Ryan Reynolds' hand as well, maybe?
Shaking Ryan Reynolds' hand, going to some charity events around town in his Wrexham gear. But apparently, he's been working out with the team, and we last saw him in April. So we haven't
Yeah.
seen him since the Charlton match in April. As we all know,
When Stephen Fletcher was still playing, by the way,
yes,
just
Stephen
to put
Fletcher
some
was.
context there.
But as we remember, he and Sam Smith joined Wrexham at the same time in January 2025, and he made 17 appearances during that period. And I'd be curious to know sort of what the incentive or the impetus is to add him on now instead of seeing what happens in January. Do you have any thoughts on what might be in Parky's mind? Or
I mean, there's a little something I'm thinking, which is like our performance the last 3 matches. And if you have someone who is able to play, like I think it's very clear that wouldn't be Elliot Lee. He's still recovering. He's not going to be able to play the next several matches. We have 5 matches in the next 2 weeks. Um, we'll talk about this. I feel like we need a spark, right? And maybe it's just trying to figure out if this will be that spark. I think I know we can't know we can't win every match. I know we can't. But I don't know, it feels like maybe because it's cold and the days are so short and it gets dark just after you eat lunch, but I don't know, it feels like we need something. We need something. And maybe that's, I don't know, that's kind of what I'm envisioning. I don't necessarily see him starting. Maybe seeing him with Kiefer Moore. Um
yeah, I'd be interested to
maybe, but
know sort of
I
how
see more like,
Parky's. Go
yeah.
ahead. Yeah. I mean,
No,
how
no.
I'm curious how Parky sees Rodriguez in the picture of the strikers that we have now, because we have what 5 strikers on the lineup at the
Yeah.
moment. And I mean, he over those matches between January and April, he formed a nice partnership with Sam Smith, and they did what they were brought on to do, which is win the games to get us promoted. But
Yeah.
I don't see him as being a more replacement or a more partner. Maybe he's a more substitute.
Yeah.
Um, Bringing in Sam Smith and Jade Rodriguez together in the last 15 or 20 minutes to see what they can do. I do think that this is a reflection of what we talked about earlier, is that Ryan Hardy doesn't seem to be fitting in. And we saw him come on and play some minutes recently, and nothing really clicked. And I don't think that's his fault, but I mean, he's had so little playing time, but maybe this is an
Yeah.
alternative to bringing in the Hardy.
Yeah.
And or since, I mean, we'll talk about this in a little bit, will O'Brien be out for a while? And so now we
Yeah.
have a gap.
Oh
Now we
man.
have a gap in the center, that both Windass and Broadhead could fill, because those are their traditional roles. And maybe
Sure.
we need them in the center with more height and more speed up front, so that it'll be
Yeah.
interesting to see. Yeah.
I think that as well. I mean, we're going into January. We've got several injuries, that are being dealt with now. I mean, we didn't talk about this the last time, but Issa Kabore is, back in Manchester, kind of recovering. That's been something that we've felt. We've really felt him and Kakache being gone. Part of it might be, well, we have these other players maybe let's see kind of what we have, how it could work as we go into January to make decisions on, what do we want to do now going into the second half of the season.
I'm eagerly awaiting to see what's going to happen. Eagerly.
But
I
only
guess
time
now
will tell what we
time will
could
tell.
talk about.
It's the thing we don't want to talk about. But
Is the
first,
thing we don't want to talk about.
well, let's talk about the fun part first. So I had the very fortunate opportunity to experience the game in a very unique way last Friday against this in the Swansea match. So Cosm, which is an immersive dome in Los Angeles, kind of right next to the SoFi Stadium, they host sporting events where you can come in and you watch these, like, you're sitting pretty much in this huge dome, and the game is projected around you using these really high resolution cameras from multiple angles, and so you feel like you're in the stadium, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you're watching a match like totally immersed in it, and you're hundreds of fans surrounding, so there's a lot of interaction. In this one, as I mentioned last week, Snoop Dogg, who is one of the minority owners of Swansea, was advertised to be in the house. And I would say that 60% of the audience was there to see Snoop Dogg. And
Really?
maybe through the Swansea connection, through knowledge of the other owners, not necessarily there to watch the match 100%, whereas there was a nice contingent of Wrexham fans who were very much invested in what was going on. A couple who I got to meet and we talked about on social media, but it's a great way to experience a match, and it's a lot of fun. I would do that anytime they have the opportunity. This was the fourth match in the last year that they've done where they played Wrexham. And I think they're the only EFL team who has had matches at Cosm regularly. Usually they show Premier League, or they show football or basketball, other sports like that. But it was a great experience, and it was lucky that it happened on a Friday before a holiday, so I was able to get out and do it. But I will say that watching it there gives me a very different perspective on the match than you had watching at home. Because
I'm interested to hear this.
Because I rewatched, and when I rewatched the highlights this morning, it reinforced it. So you notice things that we could not see in the match, because we're watching this huge immersive thing where we are like, our perspective is we're in the stands. You can't see everything. And the perspective and angle is constantly changing, right? But they don't do replays. They don't do... They have the commentary playing along, but if you want the replay, you have to turn your vision to another side screen where you can actually see the broadcast. And so a lot of us were like, when there was multiple times during this one, including during that first goal, where we had to then turn and watch multiple times to see what actually just happened, because you couldn't tell.
It's like tennis match.
It was
replay,
very much like tennis. Yes.
Yeah.
But it was, so it was a definitely different experience. And one that I would recommend anyone who has a chance to do. But from my perspective, and you tell me if you agree or not, regardless of the score, I would say that this match, I felt like we played really well, and I felt like we were evenly matched. And I think that we played better than we have in the previous few matches. Other than
that's a low bar, I've got to say.
Other than the fact that we did not get we only got one shot on goal the entire match. And so up into, handling the ball, the passing the ball, the getting up into the box, all that I thought we did better than we've done in a while. It's just not converting it into actual goals for us, which was kind of frustrating to watch.
Very.
Yes. Do you have any thoughts at this point? Yeah.
Yeah, I have lots to say, but but we can come back to that. Do you have more thoughts from your viewing?
From my viewing, it was interesting to see the fact that our goal was a Swansea own goal, which was capping off a beautiful play, right? It was Ryan Longman made a beautiful pass that set it up for anyone to make that goal. It just happened to be Burgess from Swansea who made that goal. But I found it interesting that was almost paid back in the 70th minute because their shot that Hyam accidentally deflected into goal was almost like an own goal for own goal, even though we didn't get an own goal credit. They got the credit
Mhm.
for that goal. So we were still so evenly matched, and it could have gone any way, or it just ended in a draw up until
Yeah.
90 some
Oh,
odd minute,
yeah.
which we'll talk about that in a second. Um,
Yeah.
but I think that had we walked away with a draw, both sides would have been incredibly happy with the
Yeah,
performance.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah. And I'll just say that just two little things. One is that something about the hair. So it's very
Hmm.
obvious when we're
I picked
watching
it up.
these.
I picked up something several weeks ago that I said James McClane does not have light hair anymore. It's dark.
But
And
his going
then you
dark.
picked up.
Yeah. Well, let's just say so McLean with the darker hair seems to be on this amazing roll of 6 or 7 matches
Yes.
now where he's been on fire and been
Amazing.
probably one of the most valuable players on the team. Yet Windass, who
Tried to do the
early in the
same.
season went pretty blonde, and it seems
Mhm.
like the less blonde he is, the more he fades into the background.
I don't know if you noticed this as well. Not only was it not as blonde, it was not as tall.
That might have
Maybe
been the rain.
was it raining? It
It
might have been
was
the rain,
raining.
but still. But still.
Yes. Yeah. And the only thing is, I'm not mentioning Arthur on purpose for the moment because I'll let you talk about him
Yeah.
for a bit. But I was happy when O'Brien came on,
Yeah.
and very sad.
He does bring an energy with him. He does. There's
He
no
brought
question.
an energy, and we needed that energy right at that
Yeah.
moment. But it was so terrible the way that he was brought down and taken out just minutes
And then brought
later.
off.
And then brought off with apparently a dislocated shoulder and possibly a knee injury. So
Oh.
I think a dislocated shoulder, you can bounce back if they pop it back in. But if he injured his shoulder and his knee, are we looking at another extended period where he has to now recover as we go into this really busy season? So that does make me worry. I mean, they brought on Rathbone, who brought another type of energy.
Obviously.
It just we weren't able to convert it in those final 7 extra minutes, to bring out what would have been a draw if we had held it on.
Okay, should I?
Yeah,
should
go
I talk
for
about
it. Go for it. Just go for it.
A very rare mistake from Arthur. He ran out. He wanted to get a hand on the ball and punch it away, and he punched it, but it went up. It went up instead of out, and I think that shook him. And then he kind of made his way back and just wasn't able to save it. It felt messy, but it's something, I mean, that's the first time that I can think of saying that about him in a very long time.
Oh, since he came back to when Ward got injured, from that very first moment when he played 10 minutes of that game till now, he has been the stellar performance across the entire squad. And at 91 minutes to make that mistake, and a mistake that I looked back at the video just now, and Dobson and McLean and Hyam were all right there.
Yeah.
And there was nothing any one of them could have done to save that. It was just
I didn't rewatch it.
On top of a misfortune. I mean, because it was he punched up and then it hit back and he went to grab it and he dropped it.
Did he kind of stumble?
He grabbed the ball, but he was landing as he grabbed it and it slipped through his hands. And there just happened to be a player right there to tap it in. And everyone else was just
And if it had been for us, we would have said, what great luck that we were in the right place at the right time.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So it's an interesting point. So someone commented, and there was actually someone who was at Cosm, and they were sitting next to another Wrexham fan who they did not know. And the other Wrexham fan turned to this person and said, "Oh, looks like we need a new goalkeeper now." And This person rightfully, you and I both agree to this one. This person turned and said, absolutely not. He is the best
No,
thing we have going for us. And it's that snap judgment that you get from
one
some
mistake.
kinds of fans, right? Where one mistake, one loss, one thing, and they want you out. And
Out.
out
Arthur
46
out.
games a season. It's like, no. Yeah.
We wouldn't have a team left.
We
There would be no
wouldn't.
one.
There wouldn't. No, we'd be waiting for,
Forget
Elliot.
25 person roster. We'd struggle to get 2.
We'd be
Oh.
waiting for Elliot to come back, and then he'd be the only team member left, right?
Yeah.
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 I do have to say, I do feel bad for one player this week who's been really solid for us for the last few months, is poor Hyam. So apparently it was his birthday this weekend.
Okay.
And not only was he sort of right there and the one who deflected that goal,
Mhm.
helped deflect that goal that Swansea got in the 70th minute, but also he was there in that box when Arthur was trying to make that save and
Oh,
couldn't
no.
do anything as well. And it just like, it's again that thing of like, you're there, but you can't do anything about it. And it's not your fault,
Yeah.
but it just can't feel good.
But it
as
feels
well.
bad to be
It
there.
feels bad, yes.
Yeah. I hope it wasn't a big birthday. I mean, these are all young guys, right? So like
I know.
30. Can you imagine? You
I
turn
know.
30 and
And this is your memory, yes.
sorry, Dom Hyam, if I've aged you by 7 years or whatever.
Yeah. Did you have any
On
other
that
thoughts
note,
of this one before we move on?
I do.
Yeah.
Just a quick note. I saw someone like sitting down. I was like, "Hey, that's Hyam." It was Ben Sheaf. So I'm still learning. I'm still
Those are
learning
the-
a couple faces.
Those are the two that
Those are the
think
two
we
that
just-
I get mixed up.
We need to paste them side by side and tell one of them to grow facial hair and the other one not.
Oh,
And
that
then
would
we
be
can-
fantastic. Or some hair dye. That would be easy.
Yes.
Okay, there were 3 other observations that stuck out to me.
Okay.
One, so I sometimes, especially on the later matches, I don't always remember to vote for a man of the match because it's after 11 p.m., which is way past my bedtime and I'm asleep. But I remembered to vote, and I voted for the ref. And the
Okay.
reason that I voted for the ref is because there were so many flops in the match on the Swansea City side. And he just wasn't having it. Like, no, I see through this. Get up. You're fine. And there were just, man, there were so many flops that stood out to me. Another thing that stood out to me was how fast paced the match was in passing, in changing direction, going here, going there. And I think that that's something we need to work on, being comfortable with that. And it's interesting because I was watching a Serie A match, which is the highest level of Italian football, a couple days later. And it was really fascinating to watch the difference there, where you have a style, and I understand it's also different teams, and different teams have different styles of playing, but it's like in this match versus Swansea City, it was almost like you get the ball, you need to give it to somebody else, you need to pass it on. Both teams were playing that way, and in the other match I was watching, it was a lot slower paced. It was still fast, but there was more control in a way. Like, all right, I'm going to wait. I'm going to take a look. I'm going to, it just felt, I don't know if it felt like there was better control of the ball. I don't know if it felt like there was less freneticness. I'm not sure. Franticness.
It's interesting
but
you say that,
that's-
because I think that's why Kakache was brought onto our team, because he came from that league.
Yeah, he did.
And he, when he first recovered and started showing, he kind of exhibited that thoughtful fastness or quickness.
Yeah,
right?
it's like a calm speed as opposed to like speed,
Right. And that's what we've been waiting for him
That
to
was a
come
great
back
description.
for.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think that's something that we need. We have the pace, but I think it's like we need that calm as well, I think.
I
Final
agree.
standout for
Yes.
me, the trash.
What was
There
going
was
on with that?
so much trash on the field. And there was one time McLean was taking a corner kick, and it looked like as he kicked the ball that like a piece of trash hit his boot. That was wild to me because it wasn't, I mean, it's you're throwing trash on your own pitch. I thought that was really bizarre.
Right. I could get used to the flames before the match and all the
We need
fireworks and
something. I hope when they reveal the new cop that they have something. We need
yes.
something. I
Right.
vote animatronic dragon.
But yeah, the trash was wild. And the weather was crazy. And so I'm sure the wind didn't
Yeah.
help the trash once it was on the field. But
Sure, sure.
yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, moving on, we've got lots of opportunities coming up to not think about this one anymore.
So I had a question of the week, and now let's discuss this. Should we discuss
Okay.
now or should we wait a little longer? Um, so I think my thought was that we're looking into January.
Yeah.
What are the challenges that we as a team need to address, whether that's through,
Injuries.
shaking up the roster, through injuries, bringing in another player, sending off players, or, sending people out on loan who aren't fitting the roles. I have an idea of sort of where we need to work on, but I'm curious what you
Yeah.
think.
I mean, I think we've had, I mean, especially, yeah, as it happens every season, we've got injuries. We need to kind of shake things up to see. I mean, I'm curious what the news will be about O'Brien.
Mhm.
But we've had a couple of injuries since kind of mid-season, and I think we need to find a better solution, maybe. We need to address that kind of, I don't know, frazzledness that I sense we've had the last me. What do I I don't know anything, but I don't know. That's kind of that's what I feel. But what are your thoughts?
Yeah, so I think to your point, I think that Kabori being injured has put a lot of concern on sort of the wings, right? So Ryan Longman's having to play both sides, and it's kind of a tough place to be. But I feel like we have two issues that we need to address. Is one, we haven't figured out how to fill the hole in the middle of our field behind the strikers, and we're trying with O'Brien, we're trying with various positionings, but something's not quite working right in the middle. I mean, we have very solid more up front, but at the same time, I'd also say that we only have solid more up front, and there is no other more. There's no alternative to the way that we're playing with him. And so what happens, God forbid, if he gets injured again? And then we have to shift our
You
entire
mean with
playing
everyone
style
who's trying to take him down every single
every
match?
single time.
What
And
if it works? Yeah.
so like, is there someone else like we used to have last season? Ollie was the big man, but we had Fletcher, and they
Yeah.
they complemented each other and sometimes even played together.
Hmm.
But there was an alternative, and our alternative when it's time to bring more out is for speed. It's not for a big
Hmm.
guy up front. And so do we
Exactly. Yeah.
need something else to complement that? Those are my two things that I think we look at, and maybe we use this next couple weeks to kind of see how Parky adjusts things if he does,
Hmm.
to see like what our options are as we go into January.
Yeah. Yeah. But before January, what's up next?
We have a lot going on this month. So it
We
struck
do.
me on, because we had a Friday match last week. It struck me as I woke up on Saturday morning that we have no Saturday matches for a month. Our
Hmm.
next Saturday match is on January 17th. And that's just because
Wow.
of the wacky holiday schedule with Boxing Day matches and January 1st matches. And then the television choices, we seem to be selected a lot for television over this window. So we have 5 matches over the next 14 days, and that includes
Hmm.
our third round FA Cup match against Nottingham Forest, which will be very big, our first match against a Premier League team in several years. So that's going to be a very
Yeah.
exciting one. So first, we have our home match on December 26th, Boxing Day, Friday, against Sheffield United. And this is our wrapping up of the first half of the season. So this is the last
Hmm.
team that we have not yet met this season. So Sheffield United is currently 18th. They're just 2 points behind us. They had a very slow start to the season. They had managerial changes. They had a lot of player changes. And so those first several matches, remember, they were hanging right at the bottom with Sheffield
Yeah.
Wednesday. But they've now won 5 of their last 7 matches. And so they're only 2 points behind us at this point, and they've really started to turn things around. So they're on the upswing, whereas we haven't won a match in
Yeah.
many, many matches. So we need to kickstart ourselves.
Yeah.
But interestingly is that Sheffield United is where Kiefer Moore came from. So he signed for Wrexham in summer 2025. He spent 1 year at Sheffield United as part of a 3-year contract. And during that year, he made 27 appearances and scored 5 goals. He's already exceeded the goals for Wrexham, and he's on track to exceed the appearances very soon. So it'll be interesting to see him against his former team. It's our first league matchup with them since 1983. But we have played them 3 times in the last couple of years. So we played them twice in the FA Cup in 2023. This was when that we're at the stages where at that point you played a team twice for a round, and they would average your scores together. And then we played them again in the EFL Cup in 2024. So we've had experience with them, but this will be our first league matchup in over 40 years. So that'll be interesting.
All right.
Yes.
And then the second match that we've got, can I?
We have to leave this one to you. We have to leave this one to you.
It's very bittersweet. It will be the last time that we play the Spud Brothers, Preston North End, for the season on the 29th of December at home. I'm very much looking forward to this match.
Unless, I won't jinx anything now. This is our last regular season meetup with them. Should there ever be a playoffs and they're part of it, that's a possibility down the road. So
the last of the Spud Brothers for 2025. Let's say that. That will be true no matter what.
That is a fair statement. And we'll see how the rankings of their jacket potatoes, if they go up or down based on our performance this week. So
looking forward to it. Well, that's all we have time for. Thanks for joining us this week. Please like, comment, and subscribe.
You can also email us at wxmcoffeematchup@gmail.com. All one word. That's wxmcoffeematchup@gmail.com. Or you can follow us on Instagram and Blue Sky at wxmcoffeematchup.
From the cop to your coffee cup, that's all for today's Wrexham Coffee Matchup. Keep it brewing, keep it red, and as always, up the town.